on issues happening in Parliament, specifically in their constitutional duty of approving, they have decided that they will approve by using the vetting method, and whether or not the minority leader is being disruptive. He's made some few comments that, in my view, I disagreed. That's the minority leader, as in the top one I felt wasn't too useful. And also I'm struggling to justify why you say that a president who's chosen a female vice president and who has chosen 44 of his presidential staffers, 44 being women of his presidential, because government isn't just made up of the ministers, but government also includes the CEOs and then the presidential staffers. So clearly the records or the evidence available do not justify why the minority leader will make the comments he made on the issue of disruptive.
Specific about ministers.
But I would expect.
I made allusion to support
but I would expect the minority leader, where he's making such an emphatic statement, you understand, to consider the entirety of the government. But consider the entirety of the government as against, and on he being disruptive, I think I wasn't too impressed when during the vetting of Haruna. They spent about 2 hours, in my view, a very needless banter. You know, before the proper was called a very needless banter, and then they asked in the proper what's it called vetting itself. They asked about 6 questions or so. Yeah, so based on that and based on a lot of things, I tend to agree with the view that he's been a bit disruptive. I'm hoping that it won't continue, as in, because we need to strengthen Parliament. You are a leader of Parliament. As in, I won't add the minority here. And as I said it on your show here once, that in my view is the duty of the entirety of Parliament to serve as an oversight on the executive. Yes, and not just the minority. And I hope that in spite of the overwhelming majority that the NDC has, they'll stay true to their constitutional mandate as a parliament to serve as an oversight. As in, the impression shouldn't be given that because they were sponsored by the same party that sponsored the president of the land, anything at all that the president puts up, as in, would just be allowed to. People are also questioning the leadership of the what's called deputy speaker in this. Generally, I don't think people are too impressed with how Parliament is handling the vetting. I think the president has done a good job in the appointment he's made, but I don't think people are, of myself, generally impressed with how Parliament is handling.
It almost looks like a quickie operation.
Exactly, because I think the issue about that 21 days, that was who waived it.
Well, they agreed to waive it.
Because the whole idea, you know, we are talking about inclusivity, proper governance, which is also by the people, and this is one of them. That 21-day period is an opportunity for we the people to also play a role in so in the spirit of creating the right political culture, which also must be part of the reset agenda. As the right culture that holds political leadership accountable. I don't think that the waiving of that 21 days on the altar of I want to do things quickly helps us. And so what we appoint somebody as a minister before, as where the citizens have an issue or where there's evidence to show that the person isn't suitable, before that information will come. So yes, I'm impressed with the names that have come up. I'm not too impressed with how Parliament has handled itself, and I think Afenyo-Markin has played a huge role in how Parliament is in the negative perception about how Parliament is handling itself. But as in, to conclude, I must say that in my view, we have just one Parliament.
Right.
We don't have two parliaments. We have just one parliament. And in spite of the overwhelming majority that the NDC has, it must stay true to its core mandate, which is to serve as a check on the executive.
All right. So essentially, you're telling them to show fidelity to their constitutional mandate.
Is it going to happen, Congress?
I believe so. That's why they're there. Sami, let me hear you.
Yes, thank you.
Sami,
very much.
quite a number of my viewers are quite impressed by your level of composure.
Oh, thank you. I think that before I even dovetail into the happenings in Parliament, yesterday I was reviewing President Mohammed's achievements in the last 14 days, and I think it is worthy of note that we commend him for the good work that he's doing. Yesterday I realized that, before the election, President Mahama actually had a 120-day social contract between himself and the people of Ghana,
Right.
which he actually catalogued 26 interventions that his government will do in the first 120 days.
Right.
Yesterday, I realized that President Mahama has done 5 out of the 26.
Right.
When you read that document, the first one is to nominate within the first 14 days complete list of cabinet ministers. I think that has been achieved. Number 2, cabinet. Number 2, to constitute the leanest and the most efficient government. For me, he has reduced the number of ministries from 30 to 23. He has reduced the number of ministers from about 123, 124 to 60. That has been done. When you go to point 7, President Mahama said that he will commence drafting needed legal amendments and prepare for implementation of 24 hours economy policy under the office of the president. As we speak, a presidential advisor on 24-hour economy has been appointed, where the needed legal framework is being prepared. When you read point 10, he says that he will implement no academic fee policy. Only 2 days ago, you heard the education minister saying that they will refund the monies paid by the first-year students to them, which is very important that we note. Point 23, President Mahama said he will reopen investigations into major unresolved criminal cases like the 2020 deaths of 8 people, like the Ayawaso and all that. That is 5 out of the 26, 20%. So if President Mahama has done 20% in the first 14 days out of the 120 days, I think that it is something that we must commend. If President Mahama goes by this pace, I believe that the 120 days will not elapse. Please.
We've got a few minutes. Let him finish.
It's 19.2. 19.2. That's about 20%.
We don't have much time.
You understand the point I mean? So if President Mahama continues with this pace, I believe that the 120 days will not even elapse, and he would have exhausted all the 26 bulletin that he has promised the people of Ghana. But you see, core at this whole appointment is the level of competence and dexterity exhibited by the appointees of President John Dramani Mahama. I listened to the Honorable Haruna Idrisu and I was happy, because this is a man that has the needed institutional memory, his ability to think on his feet, his knowledge of the ministry that he is going to helm, the way and manner that he understands the operations of the ministry that he is going to help, is one that we must all be happy about. In fact, his understanding of the vision and policy framework of President Mahama, as far as the no academic fee policy, as far as how we will review free education, creation of a fund, how we will decentralize feeding and all that, is one that the people of Ghana must be happy about. We listen to the Honorable Eric Opoku. He assumed the position of a lecturer when he was being vetted. In fact, his understanding of how we will turn around the fortunes of our Greek sector is highly commendable. I learned a lot from him when I was listening to that vetting. The Honorable Ato Forsen, and what have you, Dr. Dominic Ahine, a colossus. You understand? I listened to, I was extremely happy. And we must all be happy about. As for the criticism people have raised against the Honorable Afenyo-Markin, it is understandable that you don't expect him to just be quiet sitting in the chair. He has to show that he's Afenyo-Markin. He has to, in his right elements. And so it's but the NDC appointees They have always been up to speed with what they have to do and their mandate. I am happy about it. But it is important that we note that just like the difficulties that we are faced with, people in Bali, who Central and all that, the president is committed to deliver a lean and an efficient government.
Afenyo says you don't have enough women in cabinet.
Oh, this is a man, like you said, this is a man who has appointed the first vice president. When you look at the CEOs, a lot of females have been appointed. Madam Victoria Hardcastle, Madam Nelson Admif and all that. I mean, even presidential staff is 5 out of 10 are females. As for ministers, Rome was not built in a day. It is important that we note it. President Mahama has shown that it is a progressive path that he will chart. He has already appointed 7. Others equally relevant appointments will be made. But like I said, it cannot happen in a day. We will start from somewhere and end somewhere. We are assuring everybody that President Mahama is committed to ensuring that we have more women helming government institutions and delivering topmost standard of leadership that will inure to the benefit of this country. So I am happy about the appointments so far. I believe that they will all be in tune with the vision of His Excellency the President to deliver the mandate that has been given. I am extremely very happy about what's going on.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Afenyo was bringing the president's mind on it, not any mischievous reason. That's the women, affirmative action. We should look at the women. 7 out of 42, no, we need some more.
How many were there?
Today we are talking about you.
How many were
Dr.
there?
Sami Aya is NDC spokesperson for Youth and Development. George Kwejo is Director of Communications for NADMO and also member of the NPP Communications team. And then Andrew Appiah Danquah, a private legal practitioner, spokesperson for the Movement for Change and a former member of the New Patriotic Party. Right. Thank you very much.